Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, it is my pleasure that we have September Holiday Plaza is going to be started. Today we invite two very special persons. Okay, actually not two special persons, two special teams. Okay, one is from Wachovia, the other one is from Wells Fargo. Okay, the person is going to speak to us from Wachovia is Mr. Robert. Okay, and Mr. Robert today will introduce a very special tool from Wachovia, and they call it Vision tool. Okay, everybody knows that for sure. And he will introduce this very special tool and also ask people who can take advantage of the tool, because this tool is very, very special, and only Wachovia provides tools for you to use. And because I'm not special on this, only thing I can say is that we like to welcome Mr. Robert to be our speakers, and this is the first time we invite English speaking speakers. Okay, so I ask nothing but pay full attention to what Robert has to provide to us, the important message, the retirements. Okay, and also Robert has bring Gilbert. Gilbert, you stand up? Yeah. Gilbert. Okay. To us. So I don't want to occupy too much time because there are so many information he can give to us. So that's all full hands, and give him a big clap. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can you hear me without the microphone?
Yeah.
Does that work? Great. Because I don't know with me passing this around like this the whole time talking. Now, my Chinese is non-existent, but my English is fairly good. So I'm hoping that this is going to work out. You would think that a financial advisor coming here this morning to the River of Life Church would have a verse or two from the Bible about money, or what Jesus had to say about money, or what God's feeling is about money. But instead of that, I'm going to just read, to start off, one of the verses that always makes me feel good first thing in the morning, and it's Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. So that's sort of the broad, overreaching, good feeling that I would like to bring to you today. Now, what I'm going to do is talk about who we are, what we do, and how we do it. And then we're going to talk about the proprietary planning tool, process, and technology that Clement referenced, which is called Envision. So we're not going to be using PowerPoint today. We're not going to be talking about investment managers, mutual funds, annuities, 529 plans. We're not going to be talking about any type of investment or investment vehicle, because that would presuppose that I know you, that I know who you are, that I know what you need, that I know what your goals and objectives are, what your concerns are. So we're not going to do any of that. We're going to talk about a process, a tool, a technology that, regardless if you have significant wealth or you're just starting out, is a tool that will show you what the likelihood of success is for your investment portfolio while taking the least amount of risk. And that's called Vision. So who are we? I'm Robert Corona, as Clement said. My group is called Corona Wealth Management Group at Wachovia Securities. I'm a senior vice president and investment officer, which is probably not meaningful to you, but within my firm, it's a big deal. Gabriel Sanchez from my team is here today. He will be here throughout the day. I'm going to be flying out in a couple of hours, so I won't be staying here through the end, but I'm only going to speak for about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to take your questions. So you'll have plenty of time to ask me any questions about this planning program that we're going to offer you today. Our team is part of Wachovia Securities. If you drive north on 101 for about 15 minutes to University Avenue in Palo Alto, where the new Four Seasons is, that big glass building on the freeway. That's where we're located. Wachovia Bank, who owns us, is, depending on how you measure it, the third or fourth largest bank in the United States. And Wachovia Securities, that I'm a part of, is the second largest brokerage firm in the United States, consisting of about 14,000 representatives such as myself. What do we do? Well, my team provides investment advisory services. Investment advisory services. What does that mean? It basically means that we work with clients on helping them allocate their investment dollars in an appropriate fashion to help them reach their goals. My team is fee-based, which means that our clients pay us a fee based on the amount of assets. We operate in a commission-free environment. And the reason we do this is because we want to be on the same side of the table as our clients. We don't want to get paid by a mutual fund or investment manager or an annuity based on the product. We want to be paid by our clients only. That way our clients and us can pick what's appropriate, what's best, what's in our client's best interests. So we are a non-proprietary. That means that Wachovia doesn't build product. We're a non-proprietary, fee-based team that is extremely tax sensitive. What does that mean? It means that at the end of the year, we don't want you paying any additional taxes because of 1099s or capital gains. That's a little bit about what we do. Now, how do we do it? Well, our entire philosophy is based upon there needs to be a foundation in place for each and every client. And that foundation is based upon that client's specific needs, objectives, and even dreams. All of us in here are very similar. All of us in here today are Christians. We know that. But all of us don't have children. Some of us have children that have already been through college. Some of us have children that are going to go to college. Some of us have children that are not sure what they're going to do at all. Some of us have no children. So even though we're very similar as a group today, each of us has very unique needs. And I'm going to share a story that sort of exemplifies that idea of different needs. I was driving my daughter Morgan, who's 10, my son Spencer, who's 7. I was bringing them through Stanford University on the way home from Morgan's horseback riding lesson. And we're driving calmly through Stanford University. We've done it 1,000 times. And Morgan, out of nowhere, says, "Dad, this is where I'm going to go to school." I said, "Well, honey, it's nice that you would like to attend Stanford. Who wouldn't? But, you know, it's very difficult to get into the school. It's very expensive. And you're only 10 years old. This is a long ways away." She said, "Dad, you don't get it. I want to go to med school. I want to go to the Stanford med school." And I said, "Wait a second. Every child likes to tell adults that they're going to be a doctor, right? Because what happens when you're an adult and a kid tells you you want to be a doctor? That's admirable. That's a great idea. I really like that. I mean, a kid feels good about themselves when they say that." So I said to you know what, Morgan? A lot of things are going to happen between now and then. There's no telling what you might want to be when you grow up or where you might want to go to school, so don't worry about it. She said, "Dad, I'm going to be a pediatrician." So here's my 10-year-old telling me, "Hey, I'm going to go to Stanford. I'm going to go to Stanford Medical School, and I'm going to be a pediatrician." So suddenly my whole world has shifted, that my child has suddenly put about a $500,000 education bill on my shoulders going out 8 years from now. So you just don't know. The flip side is, my son Spencer, who's 7, after I got over the shock of paying for medical school, my son, I said, "Spencer, what are you going to do?" And he said, "Oh, I'm going to be a monster truck driver, Dad. Don't worry." So I'm not sure what monster truck driving school costs, but I know that med school costs a lot. So what we believe is that every family needs a foundational plan that is in place that allows them to actively plan for the future. Because, as the commercial says, life comes at you fast. And none of us know what God has planned. None of us knows what our future holds. But I will tell you that life comes at you fast. And being able to be flexible in your investment planning means that you have to have a plan in place. It means that you have to have a means of measuring what your success is in reaching your goals and objectives. I titled this page today, Your Life, Your Family, Your Money. Because I think that's sort of the way that we have to prioritize things. We're all here in this wonderful church, this facility that's seeing tremendous growth and has grown the parish. I mean, the space next door, look where you're going. And I heard that there's going to be a 2,500 seat chapel built. I thought my church was big, Menlo Park Presbyterian. This is big. You have to ask yourself, even though we all have the same basic belief, largest foundations, the largest endowments, the largest retirement plans. So technology now has allowed you to have the same sort of planning tool that CalPERS has, or any of the largest, that Yale uses, that Harvard uses, any of the largest foundations, any of the largest endowments, any of the largest retirement plans. So with Envision, again, what we're trying to do is talk about planning for your future, but being able to predict with a high probability of success your likelihood of reaching those goals while taking the least amount of risk. And here's how I'd like you to think about it. 2 years ago when Spencer was 5, he said, "Daddy, I'm ready for a big boy bike." He had a little bike and had training wheels, and he'd gotten to the point where he could really motor on that bike, slam on his brakes and slide sideways and go, "Cool, huh?" So I said, "Okay, if you're ready for your big boy bike, let's shoot down to the bike store." And we got him his first 21-inch bike, and he was ready to go. And I had him out there on the sidewalk, and I had a hold of the seat. He said, "Dad, I'm ready." And I went and pushed him, and I said, "Go, Spencer, go." And he was pedaling and kind of wobbly, no training wheels. Guess what? We hadn't talked about hand brakes. His old bike had a foot brake. Suddenly he's pedaling like a madman down our street. Well, we live on a corner where there's a lot of traffic. And he's heading for the corner. I'm going, "Brakes, brakes." And he's backpedaling, but he has a 3-speed now. So his wheels are just spinning. He shoots through the traffic, goes all the way to the park, hits the curb, and cartwheels over his bike. Envision wants to teach you how to use the hand brakes on your investments. You're pedaling on your investments. Your investments are going forward, but we always forget about risk. We always forget about volatility. When the markets are strong, all of us are enthusiastic. All of us want to participate. But when the markets go down, that's when fear sets in. Envision teaches you how to put on the brakes at the right time and slow the investment process down. And furthermore, it teaches you how to pedal faster when the investment cycle is in your favor. Most people don't realize that if you have a $10 investment and it goes down to $5, it has to go up 100% to get back to $10. So protecting on the downside, protecting against risk and volatility is more important to everybody in this room than when the markets are going up. As Warren Buffett says, a rising tide raises all the boats, but a lowering tide shows us who's swimming naked. Think about that. What's really important about Envision, and what's important to you as an individual investor, is being updated. And Envision updates you on a monthly basis. Every month, you get a new Envision progress report, which shows you exactly how your portfolio is doing toward reaching your goals and objectives. It shows you exactly how much risk you're taking and what your probability of success is. And furthermore, it lets us know if changes need to be made in your portfolio. This particular process, we have some clients who are members of the church here, and that's how all this came about, us doing this presentation this morning. This particular process is going to be made available to any church member at no cost. And you'll receive a full report of all your investments in regard to how you're planning. And inside the brochure that we handed out today are two items. There's a book about Envision, so you can better understand it. And there is an Envision profile, which you fill out to get the process started. If any of you would like to take advantage of having an Envision profile done for you, here's what the process is. We'll need to meet with you for about 45 minutes. About a week later, we'll have a report ready for you. The report is going to show you how you are currently allocated, what your risk is, and what your expected rate of return is. And it's going to show you what the recommended portfolio is, what that expected rate of return is, and how much your risk is. So it's going to contrast where you are today with where you should be tomorrow. That's available to anybody here, and it's complimentary. Just there's in your booklet is a form you can fill out, give it to Gabriel Sanchez, my associate, and Gabriel will give you a call, schedule a convenient time, let you know some things that we need to know to help you. Once you have your Envision report, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, it will help you organize your investments. If you have another advisor, it will help you determine with that advisor how you should be invested. If you're an appropriate client for us, we can talk about that. But the important thing to realize today, the most important takeaway from today's meeting, is that whether you have very little assets or whether you have significant assets, Envision is a tool, a process, a technology that you need to take advantage of. Everybody needs Envision. And with that, I'm going to end with my infamous words. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you. Now, I'm going to be flying to Orange County here in about 2 hours to actually visit with a board. But I told Clement that I would take questions now before I leave, and that my associate, Gabriel Sanchez, will also be available for questions later. So I realize this has been a very brief presentation about a very complex subject, but our job is to help you make the complex simple. So I'd be happy to entertain any questions. Anybody like to start with one?
Question, you better ask now because...
Don't be bashful.
Yeah.
They compensate me a lot of money. This is a good opportunity for you. Yes, ma'am.
You said if we become a client, right, and you will take because this service is a fee service. You will charge, right?
No. For Envision, we will provide Envision for any church member at no cost. The Envision program, we will do that for you. The Envision program. If you're my client, our clients pay us a fee over the course of the year to advise them on all their investments, on their insurance, on their mortgage. They pay us an all-inclusive fee. But to do the Envision process, we are happy to provide that to the church members at no cost. The reason that we believe in Envision is that every client of ours has to have Envision. If you're going to be our client, we start with Envision. So Envision is the perfect place for for anybody here to start, regardless if they're a client or not. Does that answer your question?
No, I mean, if we are not a member of the church, that means you will charge.
No. If you are a member of this church, we are not going to charge you. If you were not a member of the church and you came to see us, if you were referred to us, we would not charge you. We don't charge for Envision. We charge for
service.
Services. That's right, for our investment advisory services.
So what the percentage you charge?
Well, it depends on the assets. Usually on the first 500,000, it's 1.5%. On the next 500,000, it's 1.25. On the next million, it's 1%. Over 2 million, it's usually 0.75%, 0.75%. But that includes everything. That includes all manager costs, all investment costs, all trading costs. That includes everything.
And for the rubber section, I think some people are still confused. So in the Q&A section after Clarence's presentation, we will have some more clearance about Envision and their services. Okay, so hold on that questions. Okay, so we will start the next sections. Today we have a speaker from Wells Fargo and Clarence, and he brings 3 of his team members. And today's topic is also very important. And basically, Wells Fargo is a very generous bank. And do you know that for this, our church's community service, start from 3 years ago, we never get any money from our sides. It's all brothers and sisters donations. For this seminars, this is 3 years our seminars, we never get money from any other outside donations. But thanks Wells Fargo, they give us the first donations. Okay, so let's give Wells Fargo applause. Yeah. Okay. I'm so glad that people seeing our service is valuable.
Woes and problems could be resolved just by talking to somebody that knows you and you know them. Right? And that's sort of what we try to do. So that's one of the things that we're doing. The other thing that we're doing is in the American Bankers Association. Wells Fargo participate with the American Bankers Association. We basically set up programs for teens and adults, all the way from the young to the older. I may address that a little bit if I have time. But the choices of young adults make with their first credit card will affect their lives for the rest of their lives. And basically, when they get ready to do some bigger things like loans, cars, it's going to affect that. Now, many of you have probably passed that stage, but one of the things we want you to know that we can help you all the way from the time that they're small to the time that you're adults. And some of the things that we'll be talking about today is going to touch each of those. And you may have advanced them, but if you have young ones, you know, even from the smaller age, we do things for teenagers from 14 up. So you may be able to pass this on to them, because that's very, very big. Interesting enough, the largest sector of people filing bankruptcy now who is between 20 and 25 years old. Can't believe that? So things are getting really, really tough. Most people get out of high school and college, they think that credit cards and personal lines basically have the same rates as a car loan and a house and everything else. So what we do is make an all-out effort to try to benefit them in that area by joining with teachers, principals, government, trying to get this message out, because we want you to have a very, very good, strong financial background. And you know what? It really doesn't matter. We charge for none of this, and it really doesn't matter if you came to Wells Fargo or any bank. When you are equipped with this information, it's going to make you a better person in building your financial future. It's going to make your young adults, your teenagers, stronger and better. And we even have programs for you as well, all the way up to adults. Okay? We have over 5,000 trained team members that go out to these different places, schools, colleges, and even nonprofits. Over 5,000 that volunteer their time to just come out and speak to you. We've given out over 9,000 CDs every month that talks about this, and this is all free. We have over 16 million visits to our website constantly, just getting this information. It is available free to anyone that wants it. Okay. And also, I know we're talking to probably mostly non-business owners here, but one of the best ways of getting ahead in life is to have your own business. And Wells Fargo is premier. We're one of the premier banks in small business. One of the best partners for small business. So if you want to do small business, Wells Fargo is a good place to just come and talk to us. We have tons of information because we want to stop the trend of what's happening. Most business, a good portion of the businesses are out of business within the first 2 years, and another portion, close to 60%, is out within the first 4 years. So we want to talk about that as well, if you have any questions on it. Again, I'm just going to touch bases on a lot of these things today, and after it's over, you can hit us with some questions. We'll try to answer those as best possible. And again, if we don't have the answers, we'll be able to get some of those answers in the very, very near future to you if you contact us. We have plenty of business cards and plenty of contact information back there. I'm going to put my clock out here just to watch my time. Give you a little bit of information on statistics and resources. Statistics and resources. Today, over half of the U.S. high school students graduate without having the basic information on banking. Teenagers spend over $172 million per year, further that be on education and other sources. So that's very, very important. Okay, just want to take a picture to see where I'm going and see how everything is coming along back here. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and go to the. Let's stay right here on this clip here for a little while here. These are some tips that you're going to get for your teenagers, for you. You know some of them, but you can take a look at them. I'm just going to elaborate just very, very briefly on some of them. And though they may be simple, a lot of times we take them for granted. But paying on time is very, very big. Just to pay that credit card on time, and although sometimes we know it, it slips. So if you're with the bank or whatever bank you're with, if you have a card, see if they have automatic payment set up. They pay that minimum payment, and you sort of forget about it. You pay as much as you want when you want, or pay it off. But a lot of times when you have that automatic payment, at least you know that minimum payment is going to be paid. And you may be very proficient in scheduling your payment, but just in case you forget. And if you make that payment before the payment is due, the minimum payment doesn't even kick in. Ask the credit card company or the loan company that you have along with, do they have email alerts? Or do they have a payment due alerts that they can send you basically to email? These are just things that I use to remind me a lot, to help me keep things on track. The reason being, one little payment can affect your credit, substantially if you miss one payment. Okay. Be sure to read those cardholders agreement, folks. I can't tell you how many people come into my branch and, I got a good deal here, I got a good rate here, but if you don't read that total agreement, sometimes there's things in there that can come back to haunt you. Again, that's just a few tips. Learn all of the ABCs about the APR. APR being the annual percentage rate that, thank you for passing those out for me. The annual percentage rate that you're going to get. Understand what those rates are. And just ask questions if you don't know them. Know your credit limit before you start spending. To go over your credit limit can cause your rate sometime to go up very, very high. And it also can affect your credit rating. Okay? So know that. Make sure you get a good understanding about it. Create a budget. Stick to that budget. This may be ABC stuff, but you know what? Sometimes we forget. And we could put ourselves in a position where we're not quite as efficient in building our financial future if we don't do these. Remember to reduce your credit. Reduce your credit as much as possible. And when you're trying to build your credit scores, credit score, it works like this. Donald Trump said this. He said, the best thing you can do is to be credit rich and debt poor. What did he mean by that? I'll give you an example. If you have $10,000 worth of credit revolving credit, and you owe $8,000 on that $10,000, you're in a position what the credit bureaus and the credit rating refer to as being high usage. And here's the way it affects you. If you're high usage, you've used 80% of the amount of credit that you have. If you're high usage, your credit score goes down. And what that means is if your credit score goes down, your interest rates are going to be higher. If your interest rates is higher, that means you're paying a lot more for the money that you're borrowing than anybody else, than other people may be paying with a better credit score. Let me give you another example. Let's say if you owe $8,000 and you have a $100,000 credit line, you're considered by the credit bureau as having low usage. And when you have low usage, your credit score goes up. So it's a pretty good formula, easy formula to remember. High usage, credit score goes down. Low usage, credit score go up. And that's what Donald Trump was saying about utilizing being credit rich and debt poor. Prevent credit frauds. I'm not going to talk a lot about that, but identity theft is really on the rise right now. Tens of thousands of people are being affected by identity theft. And there's some things you can do to protect it. Now, we as a bank, we guarantee a lot of fraudulent activity if you're with our bank, and most banks do. We're going to guarantee you that you're going to, we will compensate a lot of time if someone steals your debit card or something of that nature. It will take some time sometime for us to do the investigation to get the money back to you. But sometimes there's nothing we can do, especially if there's identity theft. Your credit is shot, take you years to use to get that done. So give attention to that. One of the best ways of doing that is to enroll in some type of identity theft program. The type where your credit or your social or your tax ID is being monitored constantly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I can personally tell you that whatever the cost is, maybe not whatever the cost is, but if there is a nominal fee, it's worth it. I didn't have it prior to several years ago, and some things happened on my credit, and literally, folks, it took me 1.5 years to get it cleared. I mean, every time I was on the phone, I'll stay on the phone for an hour, 2 hours trying to get it done, and I run out of time, and I got, the runaround, and you all know how that is. So it's well worth it to protect your credit by having some type of monitoring service there on your credit. And another thing you want to do, whether you have a monitoring service or not, you want to check your credit consistently, all the time. Just go through it, see what's going on. Because as good as the credit bureaus are, they often make mistakes. So you may have a good history, but if a company made a mistake in reporting it, you may find yourself getting higher credit, higher interest rate, paying a lot more than what you have to. What was on my credit was there for 1.5 years, and I didn't know it. I wasn't getting the best credit rate. I just thought that's the way it was. But when I cleared it, guess what? I found that I was saving hundreds of dollars. And in some cases, it was thousands of dollars a year just by making that adjustment. And just address you because you may have some questions about that as well. And I brought Stephen along that he may be able to answer some of those questions. Stephen, I'm going to change this with you. And go right ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stephen Dick. I speak Vietnamese and Cantonese. So I would like to find out how many people have a mortgage with Wells Fargo? 1, 2, I see. How do you like it, the mortgage? Okay. What happened was I represent for mortgage division. So every loan that I close for the member of the church, you will get a donation back to $300 for the church. So, for instance, you will have our rate is very competitive. I have an echo. Do you? Oh.
Yes.
You hear better now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that because I hear echo. So, basically, Wells Fargo has a very competitive rate, and our rate is very, very low compared to Citibank, or Countrywide. On top of that, Wells Fargo will give you a discount rate when you have a banking with Wells Fargo relationship, that's what they call. And not only that, but also you have a discount for your closing costs, such as about $200 the closing cost. The lender fees is about $500 max. Yep, that's the lender fees. On top of that, you have a title fees. Okay, so with Wells Fargo, we have a flat fees. It's about $2,800, a flat fee. There's no origination fee. That the rate is very competitive, and also every loan that I close for the church, for the member of the church, I will donate back to $200 for this nonprofit organization. Okay, for instance, if you have a Wells Fargo account and you have a mortgage with us, all your fees, membership fee for checking, saving is all waived. Not only that, also your equity every quarter. We review your equity, your line of equity will be increased. And our rate is very, very competitive. Okay. Do you have any question regarding for mortgage? And okay, I just go over with the tax deduction. So for instance, we have quite a few products right now that we still serve for other people. A lot of banks right now, they don't do 100% financing. Wells Fargo still do 100% financing. Okay, the loan amount we can go up to 100% financing, which is $650,000. Okay, we can qualify for the customers. We can go full documentation of state income. Also, we can serve 50 states. For instance, if you have some customer want to buy outside the state, we will provide the service for 50 states. Do you have any questions? I'm sorry? Okay. Sure. That's it.
Well, Stephen, stay up here with me. Because just in case I'm going to ask the audience to maybe combine your questions that you may have on whether it be markets or anything that you've heard me talk about, that you heard Stephen talk about. If you have any questions whatsoever, we're going to be here to address them. We also brought plenty of business cards. Both Ann and Stephen have business cards back here on the desk, on the table here. We have a lot of brochures. If you have some questions on any of those, you can take them home. Any type of thoughts or questions that you may have, feel free to ask us. And go ahead and...
Okay, I think we start the Q&A sections. And if you have any questions, you can raise your hand. I pass the microphone to you. And if you want to ask Gilbert is here. You want to come out here? Yeah. Okay, let me give it to you first.
My question is, how do you see the loan for the home mortgage? What's the rate now for the jump loan? And how do you see the trend? The trend is going up or going down?
Good question.
And if the Fed lowered the 5.25 rate, about, for example, 25 basis, what is the trend? Your home loan will going up or going down?
Good question. So technically, we all know that September 18, the Fed might lower half point. That's what we're all expecting right now. The half point, that is the prime rate. As you know, today's the prime rate is 8.25. The economy doesn't do well at all. We cut up. If the Fed will not decrease a half point, we will have a big major recession again. In the 2001, it was recession for a high-tech company, right? The stock market was like volatile, crazy. Now we're talking about real estate bust. So what happened was the Fed said, okay, right now it's the bottom line of the real estate right now. Therefore, the Fed has to decrease a half point to release the consumer. Because if they're not going to release, if the Fed will not decrease a half point, that will be major impact for 2008. The prime rate is a short-term interest rate. So it does not impact the long term with the treasury bond, okay, or LIBOR. It's just only for short term, for business consumer, or short term interest rate. So your question is, if the Fed decrease the half-point interest rate, the market will be stabilized a little bit. Right now, the market is volatile. It's crazy right now. We have so many foreclosures out there. The people cannot afford it to refinance. The market declining, so therefore the Fed had to step in and to do something. To answer your question, the first mortgage as jumbo, yesterday I checked on the rate with the 5-1 arm. A jumbo, which is mean the loan amount is $417,000. Anything above, today at Wells Fargo was 6.5. Compared to 2 weeks ago, it's about 7.25, 7.125. So because we see the market is going down, I'm saying the interest rate is going down a little bit. So therefore, Wells Fargo, I just checked yesterday, and I was very shocked because 3 days ago I checked the rate, it was 6.875 for 5-1 arm, a jumbo. On Friday, which is yesterday, I checked the mortgage side, it's 6.5 for 5-year fixed interest only. Okay. And if you look at the market right now, I would say that 2008, the market is going to be stabilized. The housing market is not going to go up. Okay, that's what we're predicting right now. The market will be stabilized until second quarter of 2008. The market will be a little bit better or softer. But right now, the market is very, very bad, I would say. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question first. And during the break, somebody asked me about the Wachovia service.
Oh, sure.
About this fee-based services. And this question is for Gilbert. That if a member of Gilbert Church, Christian church church, if he has $250,000 and want to talk to Wachovia, and what kind of fee base they're going to charge, and if they're going to use Envision services, and how can you elaborate more, because you're going to be confused.
Let me clarify on that. Is that too loud? Is that okay? Let me clarify there, because I got the same questions. With regard to our Envision program for members of this church, we do that as a complimentary service. So there is no fee. It doesn't matter whether you have $1,000 invested or $10 million invested. We will do the Envision analysis for you, absolutely at no charge, for complimentary service. Now, Robert and I, as a team, we do have account minimums, which are pretty high. But for this church, for the members of the church, because we have clients here and because we have a relationship with the foundation, we have lowered our minimums for you. So basically, our low minimum for clients as far as investable assets is $250,000. But again, we'll do an Envision analysis to anybody who's here and anybody who's a member of the church for absolutely no cost. So I hope that that's clear. And if you have any other questions, bring those up.
Yes. Yeah, I had a question actually for both either Gilbert and Steve. First, I want to follow up. But what's the investment portfolio? Because I don't know what. It's mostly in securities, or
we can do a number of different things. It's primarily our big focus is either a combination of equities and fixed income or bonds, but we also will invest in private equity. And I know these are kind of trigger headline risk words, but hedge funds, private equity, managed futures, commodities. We have access to all of those as well. But our true focus for probably 75% of our clients is a mix of equities or stocks and fixed income or bonds. Okay. And because we don't have any Wachovia products, we focus on the best money managers out there. So we will hire Goldman Sachs, we'll hire JP Morgan, we'll hire Wells Fargo Capital. We hire a number of what we believe are best of class money managers to manage money for our clients' best interest.
Okay, so you're not into like real estate and other.
We do have REIT investments. We have private real estate as well.
We have a number of those, but generally for most of our clients, that section is, probably small.
Discount. So it depends on your portfolio. So the question you asked, yes, Wells Fargo can, because we have to, each individual have a different portfolio. So I have to sit down with the customer and consult and look at the portfolio management. Then I will give you the best rate. So that's why a lot of, I don't know, we have not released yet our mortgage division yet, but right now we're #1 for the whole nation. As you know, countrywide, they're almost filing bankruptcy. You heard about it about a month ago. WaMu is going to be almost the same because what happened was Washington Mutual, Countrywide, some other bank, they have optional. And you heard about optional, which is 1%. Most of the house right now, they foreclosure based on the 1%. So the bank right now, like Countrywide and WaMu and some other bank, they have that product. And it's a loss profit for the company. But Wells Fargo, we never sell the 1% product because we don't want to jeopardize the customer, the clientele. Even though we know that the client cannot afford it, but some bank, they're willing to make the customer to afford it to pay the house or to buy a house. Then now if the market turn around, they cannot be able to refinance because we have declining market value, the interest rate is too high, the customer's income portfolio is not enough to afford it to refinance, therefore they have to go foreclosure. Any more questions regarding mortgage?
The last one, because the time is running out. Any question? Okay.
I have some question about the Envision model. I'm wondering if that is a fund of fund.
No, Envision looks at every asset class that is out there. So it looks at stocks and bonds and private investments and hedge funds, and it takes approximately 75 years of market data, so market performance, and puts it into a model, which is a computer model which looks at the statistical formulas of how they've performed over that 75-year period. And it looks at international markets, it looks at domestic markets, it looks at private real estate, all the markets that are out there. So Envision is nothing more than a statistical